In this video, I'm going to show you a few things to help you get started exploring RealBasic on your own. I'm doing this demonstration on a Mac, but the experience would be exactly the same on Windows or Linux. When you launch RealBasic, you're presented with a new project which holds all the things that make up the application you wish to create. A project includes windows, menus, but it might also include pictures, sounds, and movies as well. Because windows are such an important part of the application's user interface, I'm going to focus on that. A new project starts with one window open in the window editor. On the left is a long list of controls that you can use to build your user interface. On the right is the list of window properties. For example, you can use the Properties pane to choose the type of window, change its title, etc. Now in this demonstration, I'm going to build a simple web browser, so I'm going to change the title of the window to Browser. I want the window to open automatically in the middle of the main screen, so I'm going to change the placement to Main Screen. Now first, the user needs a place to type in the web address, so I'll add a text field to the window by double-clicking it. You could drag it to the window as well. Next, I need a push button the user can click on to go to the web address they entered. I'm going to change the caption of the button to Go and make it a default button. And I'm going to position the button in the upper right-hand corner. Now the text field is not long enough, so I'm going to resize it. Now I need a control to display the web page itself, so I'm going to add an HTML viewer to the page, and I'm going to resize it. Now even though I haven't written any code yet, I can still try out my application at any time by clicking the Run button in the toolbar. Two things I've just noticed. First, it would be nice if the text field had http:// filled in by default. And second, the controls don't move or resize when I resize the window. Let's go back and make those two changes. I'll select the text field and change its text property to http://. Now I want the push button to stay in the upper right corner of the window, so I'm going to lock it to the top and right. I want the text field to stay in the upper left corner, so I'm going to lock it to the left and top, but I also want its right side to stretch with the window, so I'm going to lock it to the right as well. Finally, I want the HTML viewer to resize in all directions, so I'm going to lock it on all sides. Now I can resize the window right here in the editor and see that it behaves the way I want. Now the last step is to make it display the web page the user enters. I'm going to do this by telling the push button that when it's clicked, it should tell the HTML viewer to load the web page the user entered. Since the code is going to start when the user clicks the push button, I'm going to add the code to it. I'll do that by double-clicking on it. Now we're looking at the code for the window, and as you can see, the push button, HTML viewer, and text field controls I added to the window are there. Since I double-clicked on the push button, it's expanded to show its events. Events are things that happen to the control, like the user clicking, typing, dragging, etc. The action event of the push button is already selected, and it's the event that occurs when the user clicks the button. Now I can enter the action event code I want in the edit pane. When the user clicks the push button, I want the HTML viewer to load the URL from the text field. In object-oriented programming, you often start off with the name of an object, so I'll type HTML viewer. Notice that as I type, RealBasic tries to guess what I want, and when it guesses correctly, I can just press the Tab key to let RealBasic autocomplete when I'm typing. Now the HTML viewer has a command called load URL, which will display the web URL or address you pass it. To call this command, I'll add a dot followed by the command name. Again, as I type, RealBasic tries to guess what I'm typing, and when it does, I can just press the Tab key. Commands in RealBasic are called methods. If you need to know more about what a particular method or control can do, just select it and choose Help from the contextual menu. This displays the language reference. The HTML viewer's load URL method requires a URL as a string, and in this case that means a string of characters. That string of characters is stored in the text field. The text field has a property called text, which, as you can imagine, stores the text from the text field. I modified that property earlier to make it default to http://. You can access a property in the same way you call a method. Just type the name of the control, a dot, and the name of the property. So I'll just type textfield1.text. Let's give our browser a try by clicking the Run button. And there it is. I'll enter a web address. And click the Go button. When I'm ready to build a standalone version of my app that I can give to others, I just click the Build button in the toolbar. And if you have the Professional or Studio editions, choose Build Settings from the Project menu to choose other platforms you want to build for. Here's the browser I just created running on Windows. Without changing my project at all, I created a Windows version with just a click of the mouse. And here's the browser on Linux. Linux controls sometimes need to be taller, but making adjustments for a specific operating system is easy and requires no additional programming. This should give you enough to get started exploring on your own. There are a lot of ways to learn more about programming in RealBasic. Check out the Getting Started page and the tutorial. You'll find them on the Help menu. And take a look through the user's guide and the language reference as well. We also have a very active user community which you can learn from via our online forum and mailing lists. There are books about RealBasic and a magazine as well, so there are many ways to learn more about RealBasic. Make sure you explore our website too. It's got lots of good information. If you're ready to start experimenting, download the trial edition, which will give you 30 days to explore RealBasic. Remember that we have a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it for an additional 90 days after you purchase it with no risk at all. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy RealBasic.